Hello and welcome to the history of Babylon 5. Today's episode we're going to be covering Byron Gordon, and here we go. Byron Gordon was a rogue human telepath and a former Psi Cop, whose name would later become a rallying cry for the Telepath War. Like many Earth telepaths, Byron was raised by the Psi Corps. Having tested as a strong P-12, he was trained through the Corps' minor and major academies, before fully graduating as a Metapole Psi Cop. In the year 2256, Byron was assigned to the Black Omega Squadron, under the command of Alfred Bester. Though Bester considered him somewhat young and naive, he still intended Byron to become one of his inner circle. On November 18th, Byron accompanied Bester and Tappa in pursuit of a transport supposedly carrying rogue telepaths, which they tracked and captured near Jupiter. After sensor scans showed that the ship was empty, Bester realized it was a trap set by Director Johnston and his cronies. The ship exploded, damaging Bester's Star Fury. Escorting Bester back to Black Omega Squadron, Byron and Ystra then headed to Ganymede, docking at the secret Icehouse facility, much to the surprise of the base staff. After a brief encounter with a Mr. Morden from Earth Force New Technologies Division, the members of Black Omega bunked down for the night. Awoken by an explosion that rocked the facility, Byron found a wounded Bester near a flooded section of the base, where the director had been staying. Claiming that one of Johnston's guards turned on the director during a late-night meeting with the Psi Cop, Bester shot the guard in the leg before he set off a bomb. The damaged modular section quickly flooded, and Bester only had just been able to escape before it auto-detached to save the rest of the complex, though the director was not as lucky. Officially, the bombing was blamed on the telepath resistance, playing out exactly as he claimed. Unknown to anyone besides Bester's inner circle, it was actually Bester who staged the assassination, spending years planting telepathic triggers in Johnston's aides. Sometime later, Psi Corps received word of a covert operation smuggling telepaths into Earth's outer colonies, where it would be harder for the Metapole to find them. Byron and the rest of Omega Squadron intercepted and surrounded another transport, suspected of carrying rogue telepaths, demanding that the crew turn the telepaths over to them or face deadly force, with which the mundane transport crew complied. As the last life pod containing the telepaths was clear, Bester decided to send the underground a message, ordering Byron to lock all forward weapons on the transport and preparing to fire on his command. Byron protested at first, refusing to murder a ship full of unarmed civilians in cold blood. Intent on seeing if Byron had what it took to be in his inner circle, Bester moved to lock his own weapons on Byron's fighter, telling Byron that he either carry out his orders or face serious consequences. The other members of Omega Squadron followed Bester's lead. Knowing that they really would kill him, Byron reluctantly pulled the trigger and destroyed the ship, since, after all, they were just mundanes. When he returned to the base, Byron tried to file a report on the incident, but found that nobody wanted to know. Still haunted by the incident with the transport, in April 2258, Byron managed to escape the Corps by faking his own death in pursuit of a rogue ship near Venus. Joining the underground, Byron swore to himself that he would never allow innocents be harmed like that again, and to find a better way for his people without violence, without preying on their own kind or letting others prey on them. After nearly 4 years on the run, Byron and his followers arrived on Babylon 5 in January 2262, in search of a new home away from the mundanes and the iron grip of the Psi Corps. Granted sanctuary on the station by the Interstellar Alliance President John Sheridan, they set up a small colony in Brown 3, a part of Down Below, keeping mainly to themselves. They hoped to prove that telepaths could be better than mundanes by not adopting their violent ways, like the Psi Corps had done. Soon, however, Byron was approached by Michael Garibaldi, and help in performing reconnaissance for the ISA. Byron flat out denied the request, refusing to be used. Nevertheless, Byron later scanned the Drazi ambassador and found out about the Drazi's plan to ambush the White Star fleet, as they tried to help the Infili. When Lita Alexander next came to ask for help, Byron challenged her for continuing to submit to the Mundane's demands. However, he still helped, as it would matter to her personally. He told her what he learned from the Drazi, and also promised 2 of their group to help the ISA. Later, he was pleased to see Alexander came back to hear more about his position. Soon, many more rogue telepaths continued to travel to Babylon 5. What started as a small peaceful group soon became entirely too large to manage, and incidences began to break out across the station. In the meantime, Byron began a romantic relationship with Lita Alexander, a fellow telepath who was living on Babylon 5. Lita allowed Byron into her mind and dropped her defenses, not knowing that her enhanced abilities had inadvertently projected her thoughts to the other telepaths in the colony, revealing to them that the telepaths were created by the Vorlons to be used as tools to fight against the shadows. After this revelation, Byron and his followers came to believe that the Mundanes owed them for this role, telling his people to follow various ambassadors of the Alliance to find out their secrets. Storming a meeting of the IA Council, Byron demanded a homeworld for his people, threatening to reveal the secrets his people had discovered if the Alliance did not bend to his wishes. He was disappointed later when some of his people continued to use violence against the aliens instead of staying resolute. Following this, Byron began a hunger strike with Alexander and the majority of his followers, sealing themselves inside the colony. They made it difficult for the Babylon 5 crew to reach them by reading where they planned to break through and reinforcing the wall, by closing maintenance ducts, and making workers go crazy and refuse to work. Byron also sent out a message to Elizabeth Lockley to enter the compound through a free duct safely. She did so, and he informed her that they would not yield, would not give up those who were outside. He was later frustrated when the other telepaths fired on the B5 officers in his name. Shortly after the Psi Corps was called to end the situation, Byron and a handful of his supporters committed suicide rather than being taken into custody by firing a PPG into a chemical leak, making him a martyr for his cause. After Byron died, Lita Alexander became the de facto leader of the remainder of Byron's resistance. Hey, thank you for watching the history of Babylon 5. Special thanks to the Babylon Project for all information you heard today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.